FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
As we become a more important economy on the global stage, we also have to alter how India engages with the world. In my view, we still engage with a colonial mentality which says we are the victims of what you've done in the past. We don't engage in a strong, constructive way, which offers our view, our vision of what the future will look like. And we have so much as a country to contribute in terms of vision. The fact that India is a democracy, the fact that India has brought so many people along with it in the path of growth, that India is focused on environmentally sound technologies, so much we can contribute. But yet, our whole reaction to the international economic dialogue is one of reaction rather than proactivity. And I've often wondered why we do this, why we don't take a bigger role in trying to shape that process. And this is where I think we have a very important deficiency, which is that the kind of intellectual fervor that emerges in India doesn't get translated outside. There's a lot of debate here, there's a lot of argumentation, but doesn't get translated outside. And I think part of the problem is academia in India doesn't do the kind of translation that academia elsewhere does, doesn't take a role in sending Indian ideas outside. For example, there's a lot of unique value to the kind of processes that Indian companies have come up with. In many ways, there's a unique Indian style of management. This is not about This is not about a Vedic style of management or something like that. There's something very real and concrete Indian companies have done over the last 15, 20 years, which needs to be broadcast outside. It includes, amongst other things, Indian companies are extremely adaptable. They have learned to deal with uncertainty. They have learned to try and innovate out of problem situations. They've tried to work, as CK says again and again, with a population which is at very low incomes but still cares about value for money. Lots of things that can be learned from the outside. But we need to communicate this. We need to talk about what Indian management means. It doesn't seem to me that we have articulated what it means. In part because it doesn't seem to me Indian academia has stepped up to the plate to contribute its vision. Similarly, in terms of global warming, in terms of climate change, where is India's position on this apart from reaction? I mean, when I worked at an international organization, it seemed to me again and again, all the ideas for change came from industrial countries. They put the ideas on the plate. It wasn't that they had the votes. It was they did the thinking and put the ideas on where they wanted to go. And the emerging market response, not just India, was often one of reaction. Oh, we don't like that, we don't want that, we don't want this, we don't want that, but never an alternative. And it seems to me it is high time that if we are going to become one of the big economies in the world, we need to match that with intellectual prowess. This is why I say people who say India is outsourcing 150,000 students a year, not a big deal because they're getting educated in the best institutions in the world, I think that's a problem. That's a problem because we're not creating the educational institutions in India which will create the academic human capital, which then will then allow India's worldview, which exists in India, to propagate more widely and be known and have influence. So I think it's important that we think at the same time as we actually have economic influence, that we also have intellectual influence.